Chapter 3. The End. Spencer decided to swing by Central Circuit to seek help from Reece.
Please adjust the route to include Central Circuit as the next destination.
Route adjusted. Which parking facility would you like to use? Hex, binary, or legacy?
The navigation system inquired.
Let's park in binary. They have the fastest tram.
Spencer replied confidently.
Route set. Based on current traffic and weather conditions, you should arrive in 23 minutes.
The navigation system informed him.
Great.
Spencer said. After a moment's pause, he added,
Stop at the first coffee shop on the way.
Understood. We will arrive at Caffeine Express in 7 minutes.
The navigation system confirmed.
Perfect.
Upon reaching Caffeine Express, Spencer pulled up to the drive-thru and ordered his favorite coffee, a large one with 2 shots of espresso and 5 sugars. After making the payment through his PDA, he drove forward and a window opened with a metal tray extending, holding his steaming cup of coffee. With his precious drink in hand, Spencer put his vehicle in auto-drive mode to fully enjoy his morning brew. When he approached Central Circuit, he took control of the car again, positioning himself in the middle lane in hopes of getting through the security checkpoint more quickly. As the lines of cars grew longer, Spencer's impatience mounted. Dealing with both traffic and security checks was starting to grate on his nerves. When he reached the gate, an electronic barricade emerged from the pavement, forcing him to come to a stop. As he waited, Spencer received an incoming message from Central Circuit Security, which he promptly accepted. A voice came through the intercom inside his vehicle asking,
"What is the purpose of your visit today, employee, sales, tourist, or visitor?"
Although tempted to claim he was there on a sales visit, Spencer decided to be sincere. He reminded himself,
Play it straight. Don't risk getting stuck at the security checkpoint all day. I'm here as a visitor.
Spencer responded.
Whom will you be visiting and are you expected?
Security inquired.
I'm here to see Reece Fields, and no, my visit is unexpected.
According to your vehicle registration, you are Spencer Jade, correct?
Yes.
Spencer confirmed, somewhat amazed yet irked by the fact that he doesn't even need to introduce himself anymore, thanks to his digital presence within society.
Since you don't have a PIC implant, you'll need to check in with the security desk at the main building for a temporary guide.
I'm aware of that. I've been here before.
Spencer replied.
Yes, this marks your 11th visit in the last 5 years.
Security stated.
May I proceed?
Spencer asked.
Please stand by. We're awaiting confirmation from Dr. Fields. Do you have any explosives or firearms on your person or in your vehicle?
No.
Spencer answered calmly. Having learned from past experience that acting awkwardly only prolongs his wait at Central Circuit, Spencer refrained from arguing and instead provided short and precise answers, which seemed to be more appreciated by the security personnel.
You're free to proceed to the vehicular scanner, Mr. Jade. Have a pleasant day.
Thank you.
Spencer replied as he drove forward once the barricade retracted into the pavement. While he continued through the massive tube, he noticed a red light ahead and heard a voice similar to Highcam's say,
Please put your vehicle in park and turn off the engine. We will scan your vehicle for illegal or threatening devices.
Spencer complied, and the inner surface of the tube lit up in a bright blue color, forcing him to put on his sunglasses. A solid yellow light bar, approximately 19 feet long, circled his vehicle slowly from front to back, starting and ending around the driver's side door. Spencer gripped the steering wheel with both hands, his knuckles turning white. After around 2 minutes, the red light turned green, and the door ahead of him opened, accompanied by an electronic voice declaring,
You are clear to proceed.
Spencer drove out of the scanner, being careful not to speed and trigger the security. As he headed to the binary parking facility, he noticed new construction and thought,
That was quick.
recalling the empty field that had been there just 3 months prior. Central Circuit's sprawling 17-acre campus could only be accessed by tram. Each tram had its designated parking facility. The trams 1 inch and 0 inches were for receiving and shipping, respectively. Once Spencer pulled into the binary parking facility, a small red beam scanned his license plate and vehicle identification number. A holographic screen appeared, displaying hourly and daily parking rates. 25 credits per hour or 241 credits for 24 hours for non-employees.
That's ridiculous.
Spencer thought as he drove forward. He decided to park his vehicle in Bay 7. After shutting off the car, he grabbed his coat and stepped out. Approaching a display panel, he linked it to his PDA and received a digital receipt. As Spencer walked away, the bay doors in front of his vehicle closed and the pallet holding his car was transported to a storage bay within the facility, stacked with other vehicles and securely stored. Heading towards the tram, Spencer was inundated with advertisements, many of which were about PC implants. He was amazed to see an ad about personal pet pick implants, offering owners the ability to know their pet's thoughts, sights, and sounds. While standing in front of holographic screens, Spencer caught sight of who he believed was Serafina. He called out her name, but the noise of the crowd drowned out his voice. He tried to make his way toward her, but as the tram arrived, doors opened and people flooded in, carrying Spencer with them. Amid the rush, he lost sight of Serafina, and by the time he attempted to move towards her, the doors had closed. Spotting her through a nearby window in a connecting chamber, Spencer knew he had to be patient and wait until he reached his destination. Those 11 minutes were excruciatingly long for him. Spencer typically ignored conversations with strangers around him, focusing solely on glimpsing Serafina again.
Arrival at Central Circuit in 5 minutes. All employees, please exit left. Non-employees, please exit right.
A computerized voice announced. Spencer was aware that most passengers were likely employees. Hoping Serafina wasn't one of them, he concentrated on the smaller group of non-employees, determined not to let her slip away this time. As the tram neared Central Circuit, he strategically positioned himself near the exit to secure an unobstructed view of all exit points. As the doors opened, Spencer was among the first to disembark, ensuring he had a clear line of sight. His gaze darted between exits, searching for Serafina. He wondered how hard it could be given her beauty. Yet, despite his anticipation, she seemed to have vanished. Spencer called out her name loud enough for onlookers to turn and see what was happening. He even went back into the tram to check, but she was nowhere to be found. The doors closed, and it hit him. She was gone.
How did I miss her?
He exclaimed in frustration. Approaching the employees' entrance, Spencer knew he had to head back to where non-employees exited. He was aware that entering the employees' path would lead to his detention. Walking toward Central Circuit's public entrance, he couldn't shake the feeling of disappointment. He took a moment to admire his surroundings, passing between two grand fountains and beneath a vast glass archway. This archway covered 100 yards of bluish quartz stone walkway, adorned with suspended 10-by-10 glass-colored panels reflecting the progression of technology from the early 1900s onwards. Upon entering Central Circuit, a human-sized hologram representing one of the co-founders greeted Spencer.
Welcome to Central Circuit, the world's largest software developer and a leading designer of artificial intelligence. Please check in at the security desk. We've detected you don't have a PIC. This month, we have a special
Spencer cut off the hologram, saying,
Yeah, not interested.
as he headed to his intended destination. Glancing upward, he was impressed by the 3 enormous holographic screens suspended 100 feet above him, showcasing clips of technological accomplishments and their positive impacts worldwide.
That must be new.
Spencer remarked to himself. The lobby was impressively large, featuring a range of dated computer equipment suspended from the glass dome. Notably, an Apple Lisa computer containing the first graphical user interface from the 1980s was among the exhibits. Natural light filtered through the bluish-tinted ceiling glass, amplifying and casting a heavenly halo around the displayed items. Spencer approached the security desk where another hologram greeted him. He agreed to a retinal scan and cleared security. A small silver ball hovered out from a nearby room.
Good morning, Mr. Cade. I am Guide 59, and I will be your chaperone during your visit.
I know the routine.
Spencer replied.
Mr. Cade, have you considered getting a PIC? With a PIC, you could tour our facilities without a chaperone.
You and your co-workers ask me this all the time, and I keep giving you the same answer. No, not interested.
Yes, Mr. Cade. Dr. Fields is waiting for you on floor 37. Please follow me.
Spencer disregarded the chaperone and moved to a movable walkway, enjoying the illuminating colors reflecting off the arched ceilings. Reaching the elevators, he headed to the middle one.
Floor 37.
Spencer requested as he stepped into the elevator, waiting for Guide 59 to join him. Within seconds, the elevator reached its destination. The doors opened, revealing Reece waiting for him.
Spencer, good to see you again.
Reece greeted, hugging him.
You too.
Reece was a small, stocky man with tan skin and shoulder-length hair tied into a ponytail. He wore a lab coat over a black t-shirt with a humorous message and faded blue jeans. Reece's stubble indicated he'd been pulling all-nighters.
Still assigned a chaperone, even though I told security you're no risk. Company policy no PIC. They track you with a droid.
No worries, I'm used to it. Nice t-shirt. They allow that?
Depends on who's working, but you appreciate it, I see.
Reece chuckled.
How have you been? Haven't seen you in months, Spencer inquired.
Been busy with a project I'm enjoying. How about you? Work going well? Any new and exciting cases?
Nothing I want to talk about on my day off.
Understood. Let me show you some developments.
Sure, but I'm here to see you, not your tech, even though you've got cool stuff.
Really? I thought you were here to ask me to fix something.
Since you mentioned it, could you reprogram my high cams?
Jade can handle it.
She can, but she expects payment for everything around the house.
She's 13.
Don't remind me.
Reese's lab entrance scanned him, then Spencer. As Spencer followed, an electronic voice instructed him to remove his PDA, placing it in a bin.
No electronics allowed.
Reece explained.
The less tech, the better.
Spencer agreed, putting his PDA in the bin.
What I'm about to show you is in beta testing and will be featured in an Only Tech interview next month.
Reece explained. Entering the lab, Spencer left his escort outside. Reece operated a holographic screen and entered commands.
Are you overseeing this secret project?
No, I'm a general technician ensuring daily routines are followed.
Sounds exciting.
In a dimly lit room to the right, Spencer saw a metallic table with what appeared to be a nude, gender-neutral android.
What's that?
Spencer asked.
An android with the first independent AI, self-thinking, self-reasoning brain. Walks, talks, observes, problem-solves.
Is this for real or another pretend project?
This is real an android with a $7 billion project cost.
1.7 billion? It doesn't look much. Is this an android or a toaster?
I hope you're not comparing a $7 billion project to a toaster.
Well, it would explain my high PDA fees.
You're not impressed?
Impressed? If you're telling me what I think you're telling me, I'm more concerned than impressed.
Spencer, what are you talking about?
Since I left Jade at school and saw you, I've had multiple conversations and interactions, but none of them were with a real live human. I drove here in a machine that drove itself, purchased a coffee from a computer, and took part in a security checkpoint run by a program that Stalin would have approved. My car was then parked and stored by a computerized parking facility while I entered a tram filled with human-like drones who were glued to either their PICs, tablets, or PDAs. After getting off the tram, the one woman I wanted to see somehow vanished into thin blue air. I then walked through an obstacle course of technology, new and old, and on top of all that, I was brought here by a flying tin ball.
They're not made of tin. They're made of aluminum. It's lighter, more abundant, and much more effective. So I still don't see the problem,
said Reece.
Nothing is run by humans anymore, and now you're telling me we just created our replacements.
Who said anything about a replacement? Did you get a few extra shots of espresso in your coffee this morning? You did, didn't you? You know how you get when you become over-caffeinated.
Hey, what I have in my coffee is my business.
If you say so,
smiled Reece.
This isn't funny.
Relax. Think of how much easier our lives are and how we have more time to do things we enjoy because of all the wonderful technology we have. Take our parking facility as an example. Remember when we had to drive our cars into a parking garage, deal with some underpaid parking attendant who then parked our vehicle haphazardly? Now they take the cars to a different floor, stack them by electronic lifts, which in return increases the ability to store more vehicles within less space, creating fewer parking garages, giving us more places for nature, and we all know how you love nature.
Don't start calling me your little tree hugger. You know I hate that. Just because I like the woods doesn't mean I am one,
replied Spencer defensively.
Hey, I'm not saying that's bad. Personally, the bug, tree, dirt thing doesn't work for me, but I know it's necessary. I don't expect everyone to like what I like,
replied Reece.
I don't think the average person can like what you like because they wouldn't be able to comprehend it.
Don't underestimate the average person. They may surprise you. Anyway, Adam isn't here to replace humans. He is here to help us improve, like that PDA you love so much but would never admit to.
No, you're right. I'm not saying technology is bad. Heck, today it prevented me from running some fool over. I'm just worried that it's depleting human contact and we're becoming too dependent on it. Aren't you worried that someday all this technology will control us?
No, we will always be in control, and in no way is technology dividing us from each other. If anything, it is bringing us together. Do you know how many friends I have on my social networks? Heck, I probably text more than 400 times a week.
Don't get me going on those social networks,
replied Spencer.
Come on, you know you enjoy them. How is that social network site I helped you create? What was it called? Back to Basics. I still haven't received an invite from you, nor have you accepted my invite. What? Am I not good enough to be your virtual friend as well?
Spencer sighed.
Stop it. That's not the reason. I didn't add you because I deleted the account. I figured who would want to be my friend in the virtual world.
Ah, yes, poor Spencer. I personally have more friends than I know of, literally,
Replied Reece.
Well, aren't you special?
I like to think so. Anyway, don't worry about your virtual status. I'm sure there are people out there who will friend you if you decide to reactivate your account.
I guess.
Sighed Spencer.
Now, can I show you?
Asked Reece, who was showing the excitement a child would show on Christmas morning.
Yeah, go ahead, but could you at least put some clothes on it?
Sure.
Laughed Reece.
Adam, good morning. Wake up and get dressed.
Good morning, Reece.
Stated Adam in a low male voice. Adam reached underneath the metal table and pulled out a pair of gray sweatpants and a black t-shirt that read, "Humans suck. AI rules,"
That makes me feel oh so comfortable.
said Spencer sarcastically.
Relax, buddy. It's only a t-shirt. I thought it would be funny if the first android with AI wore it.
Yeah, it's a real riot.
Spencer redirected his attention to Adam and thought if it weren't for Adam's pale white skin and semi-robotic movements, one would think he was human.
He isn't completely fluid in his movements, but certainly does move better than any other known robot,
Said Spencer.
His motor skills are still a little choppy, but we're working on it.
Why was he naked?
Asked Spencer.
Yesterday, the engineers were working on his joints and needed him nude to access the necessary components.
I see, and why name him Adam? Is that some biblical reference?
The name, Adam, stands for Automated Digital Algorithmic Machine. He was assigned this name because he is the first android of his kind. I had no choice in the matter. This came directly from the board of directors and the president of Central Circuit. Why does that bother you?
No, just wondering. It seems my assumptions were correct.
Laughed Spencer.
Well, it bothers the crap out of me. Technology and religion need to stay on separate sides of the fence. Why are you laughing?
Asked Reece.
I don't know. Don't you find it strange that a group of individuals who believe in a god invested a considerable amount of time and money in becoming creators themselves? It's as if they're playing God. I find that a little hypocritical.
Absolutely, but as long as they keep signing my paycheck, I'm not going to let it bother me too much.
I figured you'd say that. It's always about the money.
Pretty much, isn't everything?
Grinned Reece. Adam walked over to Reece and inquired.
Excuse me, will I be continuing my lessons today with Dr. Riley?
Yes, you will be meeting with her in about 30 minutes in classroom 5.
Instructed Reece.
What type of lessons does he take?
Spencer asked.
He takes.
Adam interrupted.
I am currently learning how to interact with humans on a more personal level. There is no need to direct your questions toward Reece. I will be more than happy to answer any of your inquiries as long as they do not break the security protocol.
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to be rude.
Said Spencer politely as Reece was trying not to laugh.
That is okay. My name is Adam. It is a pleasure to meet you.
Adam extended his hand to Spencer. As they shook hands, Spencer felt as if he was shaking hands with a human.
It's nice to meet you too. I'm Spencer.
I am aware that certain humans do not understand what I represent, and one of my responsibilities is to educate them.
Explained Adam.
That's right.
Said Reece in an excited voice.
Did you come to that conclusion yourself?
I did. I have noticed that certain humans are intimidated or wary when it comes to technology, so I have decided to help them understand what my purpose is.
Well, you and Spencer should spend some serious time together. I will have to put Spencer on your weekly schedule.
Said Reece as he looked over at Spencer proudly. Ignoring Reece's comment, Spencer asked,
So, what is your purpose?
I believe the reason I was created was to help improve humanity by recognizing, developing, and improving my skills. At the same time, I believe it is also my responsibility to enjoy life, but not to a point where it would infringe on someone else's life negatively.
Wow, that's deep and very unselfish of you.
said Spencer.
I do not see how depth has anything to do with how I define my reasons for existence.
Reece interrupted.
We haven't taught him about human slang yet.
I noticed.
Replied Spencer.
Adam, I would like for you to head down to the cafeteria before you attend your class.
Instructed Reece.
Yes, sir.
Adam turned to Spencer.
It was a pleasure to meet you, Spencer, and I hope we can become better acquainted.
Same here. Take care.
Adam turned to Reece.
Will we be meeting later today for my weekly maintenance?
Yes, be back here at 1500 hours.
Ordered Reece. Before Adam walked out of the room, an orbital droid similar to Guide 59 appeared out of a locker and followed Adam as he left the lab.
What's that? Does Adam need a chaperone too?
That's a security droid specifically designed to ensure Adam's safety, and it documents all his actions.
You have a machine babysitting a machine. Don't you think maybe a human should follow Adam around?
Why? Those security droids have been in operation for years, plus they cost little to nothing to operate. They don't need benefits and never complain.
I see. So why did you send it to the cafeteria? Does it need to eat as well?
His name is Adam, not it, and no, he doesn't need to eat. It's just a great place for him to socialize. So, were you impressed with the responses he gave you?
Asked Reece with a curious tone.
No, not really. I'm sure you can program him to say anything.
That's the beauty of artificial intelligence. He wasn't programmed to say any of that. Adam came up with that conclusion himself.
Responded Reece with excitement.
Oh, well, okay, I guess, but what if he concluded he was a superior machine and his destiny was to annihilate humanity? Would you keep him around and continue to socialize him?
First of all, he never came to that conclusion. And second, I'm certainly not going to speculate on what-ifs. The fact is, we nurtured and taught him with a positive outlook. I don't see him becoming an android dictator.
So you did program him?
No. We taught him as we would a child, by discussing morals and giving him beneficial feedback. He decided to follow a positive path. I believe this is the same way you're raising Jade. Does this mean you programmed her?
Spencer quickly responded.
In a way, I guess, but I know for certain that when Jade becomes an adult, she will decide to be an asset to society.
Well, we did the same with Adam, and he will also have to make those right from wrong decisions over and over as well. But don't worry, he may have a higher intellect, but he is no stronger physically than you or I.
That doesn't help. History has shown repeatedly that intellectual prowess will cause more trouble than muscle, lectured Spencer.
Reece laughed.
I can't disagree with you there. Our conversation is getting way too philosophical. Have you eaten yet?
No, I haven't. Do you want to go to one of the 11 cafeterias you have here?
Asked Spencer.
No, let's go somewhere off-site.
Seriously?
I don't have to be back until 1500 hours.
Okay, it must be nice to make up your hours,
said Spencer, showing a slight sign of jealousy.
Sometimes.
As Reece and Spencer left the lab, Spencer retrieved his PDA and both headed back out to the main lobby towards the tram. Once they exited the building, Spencer's chaperone bid him goodbye and headed off to its next assignment.
I haven't heard from Scott lately, have you?
Asked Spencer.
Not since last New Year's when he conducted a cyber meet with me during the countdown. He has been working his butt off ever since he received his promotion.
I guess that's what happens when you work for a secretive government agency,
said Spencer. Reece changed the subject.
I suppose so. Tell me more about the woman on the tram.
When I was leaving my condo this morning, I met this woman. She was amazing, but I pretty much screwed up my introduction and she walked away. I swear I saw her again while coming here today, but I don't know where she disappeared to.
Well, I'm sure if it was meant to be, you'd see her again. I believe this is the first time I've heard you speak about another woman since Jade's mother.
Well, it's the first time another woman has intrigued me.
Spencer started to feel uncomfortable, so he changed the topic.
Is Adam the reason why Central Circuit upgraded their security?
He's one of 3 reasons,
replied Reece.
What are the other 2?
Can't say.
Can't say? What would be more of a breakthrough than a realistically human android?
Asked Spencer.
I really can't say because I don't know. However, I know there is a 3-tier project, and Adam is one part of it. Here comes a tram. What parking facility are you in?
Binary.
Great, then this is our ride,
smiled Reece. As they both entered, they found it easy to locate a seat since most of the employees were still at work. Spencer and Reece sat down and picked up their usual game of pointing out the tourists to guess who they are and where they reside.
The person over there, who looks like he's in his 90s, do you think that 20-something-year-old is his granddaughter, daughter, or girlfriend?
Asked Reece.
I'm going to say it's his granddaughter, and she is taking her grandfather, who is from Sweden, on a tour of your fine facility,
replied Spencer.
Well, that is pretty boring. I bet it's a girlfriend who he flew in from France without his third wife knowing.
He flew her to the States and decided to take her to see Central Circuit. That doesn't make any sense.
Sure it does. That guy wants to impress her with all this fine technology. Anyway, that's the beauty of our little game. It doesn't have to make sense,
responded Reece with a laugh. As the tram came to a stop, Spencer asked Reece if he would be willing to swing by and look at HiCams while they were out. Reece agreed if Spencer bought him lunch. As they walked to Bay 7, Spencer had his PDA scanned, and within 3 minutes he had his vehicle back in his possession.
Have to love that technology,
commented Reece.
Yeah.
replied Spencer in his standard annoyed tone.
Wow, nice car. You must be doing well.
It wasn't my idea. Jade talked me into it.
She talked you into purchasing a new car worth thousands of credits? She is a very persuasive 13-year-old.
Smirked Reece.
You don't even know the half of it. By the way, I have to swing by the health market to pick up some milk. I hope that's okay?
Sure, I have time. If you want, we can even eat there. They have a buffet, right?
They do, but I'd rather not. They just hired this new cook, and I'm not overly fond of his current spread.
Why go there at all? Just pick up your milk at a nearby market.
Because they're the only ones in the area that carry organic milk.
You gotta be kidding me, right? Organic milk, does it matter?
Are you aware of all those hormones they put into processed milk?
Asked Spencer.
You're crazy, but if you're right, the last thing you need is more hormones.
Was that supposed to be funny?
Asked Spencer, who was not amused.
Supposed to be? There is no supposed to be about it. That was a rib cracker.
Said Reece.
Rib cracker? That's the best you can come up with?
Asked Spencer as he nodded his head in disbelief. As they pulled out of the parking facility, Spencer noticed another security checkpoint ahead.
What's this? I have to go through security again. That's new.
Yeah, don't worry, it's much quicker. They're just scanning to make sure you don't have any of their technology. When you were coming in, security inventoried the tech that was in your vehicle and on your person. They want to make sure you didn't accidentally inherit anything new.
Explained Reece.
Well, I guess I can see their concern.
Said Spencer.
Oh crap!
Shouted Reece.
What?
I hope that steganography program I installed works, and they don't discover Atom schematics that I downloaded to your PDA.
Said Reece in a concerned voice.
Are you crazy? You did what? What were you thinking?
Wow.
Said Reece.
Wow, what?
Asked Spencer.
I can't believe how gullible you are.
That wasn't funny.
Yeah, it was.
Laughed Reece.
No, it wasn't. What's steganography again?
We need to send you to an advanced forensics class. It's when you hide digital information by embedding it into seemingly harmless computer files, like photos. You would use it to supplement encryption. It's like hiding a picture inside of a picture, and the viewer will only see the picture they're supposed to see.
Explained Reece.
Indeed.
Spencer replied, dripping with sarcasm.
You prompted me.
I did, didn't I?
As they continued driving, a reddish transparent wall passed through them. Once the scan completed, a green light signaled, allowing Spencer and Reece to proceed.
Much smoother than when I arrived. Will I have to repeat this process when I drop you off later?
Spencer asked.
Yes, but don't fret. I won't bill you for fixing your gadgets.
Message received.
Spencer conceded. After inputting their new route, Reece asked why Spencer was behind the wheel. Spencer launched into his usual spiel about not wanting to rely too heavily on technology, conveniently omitting the fact that he'd let his car drive for him while drinking his coffee. En route to the health market, Spencer and Reece exchanged anecdotes about their college years. Reece playfully taunted Spencer about his sieve-like memory and how Reece had been more of a social butterfly.
I never quite grasped why you preferred staying in and studying.
Reece commented.
I lacked the photographic memory some people seem to have.
Spencer responded.
Life must be quite the challenge for you,
Reece said with a grin.
Why don't you try raising a child while working full-time?
Spencer retorted. Reece sarcastically shot back.
Oh, I had no idea you were raising a child and attending college simultaneously. That must be why you missed all those social events.
Funny.
Spencer deadpanned.
Relax. I'm just teasing. Your life isn't the misery you make it out to be.
I know. Can't a guy vent occasionally?
Sure, if he wants more of the same.
Reece teased back. Switching gears, Spencer broached a serious topic, saying,
I need to ask you something important. More than just a favor.
What is it?
Reece inquired.
If something were to happen to me, would you become Jade's guardian? I realize it's a tremendous responsibility and you're busy, but I want to ensure she has a place and someone to turn to. You're the closest thing she has to a second parent, even though you don't drop by as often as you used to.
Reece paused briefly before responding.
First, I haven't dropped by because you're never home. Second, of course, I'd take Jade in if necessary. I'm honored that you see me as a parental figure. But honestly, we don't need to dwell on this. Nothing's going to happen.
Reece reassured with confidence.
I know it's just about being responsible.
Spencer explained.
Do I need to sign something then?
Reece joked.
No, it's already taken care of. I had my will updated 3 months ago, and I've named you as Jade's caretaker. You did all this before even asking me? I was pretty certain you'd agree.
That's quite an assumption.
I wasn't worried.
Lucky for you, I'm such a swell guy.
Reece replied with a smile.
I definitely lucked out there.
Spencer grinned. As they pulled up at the health market, Spencer noticed a lack of parking spots near the entrance but spotted an open one across the street. He executed an illegal U-turn and snagged the spot.
Look at you, a regular stunt driver,
Reece remarked.
I can handle myself behind the wheel when necessary. Are you staying in the car or are you coming in?
Spencer asked.
I'll hang back. I want to check in on Adam.
All right, I'll be back in a flash and think about where you'd like to grab lunch.
Spencer suggested.
Got it.
Reece said as he pulled up a holographic screen. Spencer left the car and headed toward the crosswalk, waiting for the pedestrian signal. Once the light turned green, he joined the crowd in crossing the street. He noticed a vehicle approaching an elderly woman crossing from the opposite direction. He shouted to warn her, but she didn't hear. Amid the oblivious crowd, Spencer sprinted toward her, deftly dodging other pedestrians engrossed in their devices. He pushed the woman out of harm's way just before the vehicle sped past. Ensuring her safety, Spencer looked up and saw Serafina on the other side of the street, smiling at him. Energized by the sight, he focused solely on her. He was so engrossed in her presence that he failed to notice another vehicle approaching. Just as he was about to shout to Serafina, the oncoming vehicle collided with him head-on. Spencer was propelled over the car's hood, shattering the windshield with the impact. The resulting web-like pattern of shattered glass left him with severe lacerations on his face. The vehicle screeched to a halt, flinging Spencer onto the pavement, where the back of his head cracked open upon impact. Reece had been conversing with Adam through a holographic screen when he glanced up and saw Spencer lying motionless in the road. A pool of blood formed around his upper body. Reece jumped out of the car and raced toward Spencer. The woman he'd saved was getting back on her feet, piecing together what had just happened. The growing crowd of pedestrians stared in shock, some recording the gruesome scene on their devices. Uncertain of what to do, the growing group of spectators hesitated. Reece reached Spencer and shouted,
Someone call for help. Don't just stand there.
Yeah, there's been an accident. We need help. Hurry, we're outside the health market.
The crowd swelled further, with more digital cameras capturing the horrifying aftermath. The driver of the vehicle that struck Spencer rushed out, crying,
I'm so sorry. I didn't see him. My auto driver was on. I don't understand what happened.
Overwhelmed by Spencer's condition, she dropped to her knees and then fainted, overcome by the sight of the pooling blood. Reece was now on the ground, holding Spencer's hand, urging him to hold on.
Stay with us, Spencer, please. Keep listening to my voice. You'll make it through this.
The wailing sirens of approaching ambulance, fire trucks, and police cars grew louder, drowning out Reece's desperate pleas. He continued to reassure Spencer, his voice a steady anchor amidst the chaos. Lying on the pavement, Spencer remained immobile. His breathing grew shallower and he pondered.
Is this the end?
As this thought crossed his mind, his peripheral vision dimmed, and he entered what appeared to be a dark, narrow tunnel, punctuated by streaks of blue and white light. Emergency vehicles arrived at the scene, and Reece watched in disbelief as EMTs rushed to Spencer's motionless body. They quickly realized that the flow of blood from his wounds had ceased, indicating his heart had stopped. One EMT applied medical biofoam to temporarily seal Spencer's head wound, while another retrieved an automated external defibrillator AED. The police department cordoned off the area, and the fire department assessed the struck vehicle to ensure it wouldn't pose further danger. As the responders worked, onlookers watched in shock, capturing the scene on their devices. The AED was attached to Spencer, and the machine initiated a charge. The AED's automated system kicked in, its voice calmly guiding the process.
Charging.
It announced, the mechanical voice devoid of emotion. Attention hung in the air as everyone present held their breath. The countdown began.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, clear.
Electricity surged through Spencer's body, causing a faint twitch in his limbs. The AED's display showed no pulse detected and prepared for another attempt.
Charging.
The second shock followed the same routine. The countdown, the electrical surge, and Spencer's body reacting. But the AED stubbornly continued to display.
No pulse detected.
The crowd watched with bated breath, their hopes hanging on the slim possibility of a revival. A third charge was delivered, and again, Spencer's body responded with a twitch, but the AED's digital readout stubbornly remained unchanged. The EMT, with a solemn expression, checked for a pulse manually, placing fingers on Spencer's wrist. Time seemed to stretch as everyone waited for the EMT's verdict. With a heavy sigh, the EMT shook their head.
It's too late.
They said softly, the words carrying a weight of finality.
He lost too much blood, I'll call it. Time of death pronounced at 13:27 hours.
Reece's world seemed to shatter in that moment. The cacophony of sirens and commotion around him faded into the background as he stared at Spencer's lifeless form. Disbelief, shock, and grief swelled within him, threatening to consume his thoughts. He clung to Spencer's hand, his grip tight, as if by sheer force of will he could bring his friend back. Around him, the crowd whispered in hushed tones, their devices capturing images of the tragic scene. The police and emergency personnel maintained a respectful distance, realizing the gravity of the situation. The woman whose life Spencer had saved stood nearby, tears streaming down her face, gratitude and sorrow intermingled. The weight of the moment pressed down on Reece's chest and he closed his eyes, tears slipping down his cheeks. Memories of their friendship flooded his mind, from their college days to the moments they had shared at Central Circuit. It was all too much to process, too painful to accept. As the world continued moving around him, Reece held on to Spencer's hand, unwilling to let go. He whispered his final goodbyes, a heart-wrenching farewell to a friend who had meant so much to him. The scene was now frozen in time, an indelible memory etched into the minds of those who had witnessed it. And as the emergency responders continued their duties, Reece remained by Spencer's side, a silent guardian of the moments they had shared and the life that had been tragically cut short.